There's a moment in the quiet of morning, when the sun hasn't quite kissed the curtains, and your bones still hum the echoes of sleep, when a single habit could either breathe life into your body, or slowly take it away. After 70, your body speaks louder than ever. The question is, are you still listening? When we wake up, many of us follow routines we've held onto for decades. They feel comforting, like old friends. But not every old friend is kind. One of the most overlooked burdens on the elderly body is lying in bed too long after waking. It feels like rest, but it's often the opposite. After 70, our circulation becomes more sensitive, and staying horizontal too long can lead to stiffness, slower blood flow, and even disorientation. 1. Lingering in bed too long after waking up. At first, it seems innocent. You open your eyes, feel the softness of your blanket, and convince yourself, 5 more minutes. But those 5 minutes often become 20. And in that time, your muscles settle into stillness. Your joints grow colder. The body, which thrives on gentle momentum, becomes trapped in inertia. Movement is life. And the morning is the body's invitation to begin again. But instead of answering that invitation, we hit the snooze button, literally or figuratively, and allow our strength to slowly wither. Each morning becomes a rehearsal for weakness, not wellness. You might notice it in subtle ways: the struggle to sit up, the dizziness when standing, the unsteadiness in your first few steps. It's not just aging. It's the result of a body that wasn't encouraged to rise, stretch, and engage early. A body that's been gently neglected in the name of rest. The tragedy is that we often think we're being kind to ourselves. We believe rest is what we need most. But at this stage in life, it's not more rest we need, it's wiser activity. Gentle, purposeful movement that reminds our muscles and minds, I am still here. I am still strong. So instead of lingering in bed, try sitting up slowly, placing your feet on the floor, and greeting the day with gratitude. Let your breath deepen. Let your arms stretch outward. Even a few slow neck rolls, shoulder lifts, or ankle rotations can send a clear signal to your entire system: wake up, we've got living to do. You don't need a gym or a yoga mat. Just your breath, your presence, and the willingness to honor your body's quiet requests. The smallest shift in the first minutes of your day can echo throughout your hours, bringing energy, balance, and clarity. It's not about racing out of bed. It's about rising with intention. There's dignity in motion, in showing your body that you still believe in its potential. Even a simple march in place or opening and closing your hands prepares your circulation, your heart, and your posture for the day ahead. And perhaps the most beautiful part. That moment becomes yours. A sacred ritual of self-respect. Not for anyone else to witness. Just you and your breath. You and your courage. You and the simple choice to begin the day standing, not shrinking. Think of it this way: how you start the morning tells your body what kind of day to prepare for. Will it prepare for decline, or vitality? The choice begins before your first sip of tea. Point 2. Many older adults wake up and head straight to the bathroom, then return to bed, or worse, to the couch. But the body, after hours of fasting and stillness during sleep, is craving nourishment. And not just food. It's craving hydration. One of the most draining morning habits after 70 is skipping water. You may not feel thirsty. The aging body often loses its thirst signals. But that doesn't mean the need is gone. In fact, dehydration is one of the silent enemies of aging, causing fatigue, confusion, dizziness, and even triggering heart issues. When you delay your first glass of water, you're essentially asking your body to function on empty. Your joints need lubrication. Your brain needs fluidity. Your digestive system needs a nudge. And all of that begins with a simple glass of water. Not coffee. Not juice. Water. Imagine your cells, like flowers after a drought, perking up with the first drop of hydration. It's not dramatic. It's not exciting. But it's deeply life-giving. And it's free. Some say, I drink later in the day. But by then, damage is already done. Think of morning water like turning on the ignition. It wakes the system, warms the engine, and gets things moving. And if you want to take it further, add a squeeze of lemon. Not for detoxing magic, but for flavor, digestion, and vitamin C, warm water with lemon becomes a comforting, nurturing ritual. It reminds you that care begins from within. No matter your age, your body still has power to heal, to energize, and to surprise you. But it needs the right environment. And hydration is one of the simplest, most overlooked foundations. So tomorrow morning, place a glass of water by your bedside tonight. When you wake, sip it slowly. Let it become part of your rhythm. Over time, you may notice clearer thoughts, steadier steps, and a gentler gut. Small act. Big shift. We spend years chasing cures and medications. Sometimes, the first medicine is remembering to water the garden that is your body. 2. Skipping water in the morning. Many older adults wake up and head straight to the bathroom, then return to bed, or worse, to the couch. But the body, after hours of fasting and stillness during sleep, is craving nourishment. And not just food. It's craving hydration. One of the most draining morning habits after 70 is skipping water. You may not feel thirsty. The aging body often loses its thirst signals. But that doesn't mean the need is gone. In fact, dehydration is one of the silent enemies of aging, causing fatigue, confusion, dizziness, and even triggering heart issues. When you delay your first glass of water, you're essentially asking your body to function on empty. Your joints need lubrication. Your brain needs fluidity. Your digestive system needs a nudge. And all of that begins with a simple glass of water. Not coffee. Not juice. Water. Imagine your cells, like flowers after a drought, perking up with the first drop of hydration. It's not dramatic. It's not exciting. But it's deeply life-giving. And it's free. Some say, I drink later in the day. But by then, damage is already done. Think of morning water like turning on the ignition. It wakes the system, warms the engine, and gets things moving. And if you want to take it further, add a squeeze of lemon. Not for detoxing magic, but for flavor, digestion, and vitamin C, warm water with lemon becomes a comforting, nurturing ritual. It reminds you that care begins from within. No matter your age, your body still has power to heal, to energize, and to surprise you. But it needs the right environment. And hydration is one of the simplest, most overlooked foundations. So tomorrow morning, place a glass of water by your bedside tonight. When you wake, sip it slowly. Let it become part of your rhythm. Over time, you may notice clearer thoughts, steadier steps, and a gentler gut. Small act. Big shift. We spend years chasing cures and medications. Sometimes, the first medicine is remembering to water the garden that is your body. It's easy to overlook this. After all, we've lived through decades, survived hardships, adapted to change. Something as simple as drinking water can feel unimportant. But simplicity is not the same as insignificance. In fact, in the later chapters of life, it is often the smallest habits that hold the most power. Think of how often you feel sluggish in the morning, or how your balance feels slightly off. It's not always because you slept wrong, or because it's just age. Sometimes, it's your body's quiet way of saying, I'm running dry. The internal rivers that once flowed freely now move slower, and they need your help to move again. Hydration after 70 isn't just about physical performance. It affects your memory, your mood, your skin, and even your heartbeat. And yet, we rarely make it a priority. We wait until we feel thirsty, but by then, we're already behind. Waking up and drinking water isn't glamorous. No one will praise you for it. But it is an act of self-love. A declaration that your body, no matter its wrinkles or wear, still matters. It's a way of saying, I choose to support you today. And when you do it consistently, your body responds. Digestion becomes smoother. Your joints feel less creaky. You may even notice fewer headaches, better focus, and more patience in the little moments. The fog that sometimes settles over the morning mind begins to lift. Some elders say they avoid drinking in the morning because it makes them visit the restroom too often. But consider this, the very function you're trying to avoid is one of your body's greatest indicators that it's still alive and working. The ability to eliminate waste, to keep your system moving, that's a gift, not a nuisance. Others say they forget. And that's understandable. So make it easier. Place the water by your bed. Set a note on your nightstand. Use a glass that feels beautiful, sacred even. Turn it into a ritual you look forward to, not a chore you have to remember. You deserve a morning that begins with clarity, not confusion. With flow, not friction. And water is often the bridge between the two. It's not magic, but it is essential. Let it be the first promise you keep to yourself each day. A simple action that whispers, I am choosing to live well, even now. Especially now. And as your body becomes used to it, the difference might surprise you. You may find yourself walking with more ease. Speaking with more clarity. Smiling more often. Because when the body feels supported, the spirit lifts too. We don't need more complicated advice. We need timeless wisdom, brought back to life through action. And drinking water in the morning is ancient wisdom we can reclaim, one sip at a time. You may not control everything about aging. But you can control how gently and lovingly you treat your body each day. Water is not just hydration, it's hope. A silent source of strength. Let others underestimate it. But you've lived long enough to know the truth, sometimes the quietest acts are the most powerful ones. So tomorrow, before you do anything else, before you scroll your phone, check the news, or speak a word, drink. Drink for your muscles. Drink for your memory. Drink for the version of you who still wants to live fully. Because aging isn't just about enduring, it's about choosing, every day, to care for the miracle that still breathes inside you. Even if it starts with nothing more than a glass of water. 4. Starting the day with screens. There's a quiet habit many older adults maintain without question, skipping breakfast or delaying it for hours. For some, it's become routine. They say, I'm not hungry in the morning, or I'll just have coffee and wait until lunch. But after 70, this habit, so casual, so common, is slowly wearing the body down in ways most don't realize. When you sleep, your body enters a gentle fasting state. Your blood sugar lowers, your energy reserves get used, and your digestive system rests. But come morning, your body expects something in return, a gesture of renewal. Food is not just fuel. It's stability, warmth, and a signal that you are ready to live another day with intention. Skipping breakfast may have worked in your younger years. But with aging, the body becomes less tolerant of long gaps without nourishment. Muscle mass declines faster. Blood sugar dips hit harder. And what may feel like just being tired might actually be your body crying out for sustenance. Some believe that eating late in the morning helps with weight. But what is weight without strength? Without clarity of mind? Breakfast is not about volume, it's about wisdom. A boiled egg. A bowl of warm oats. A banana and a spoonful of peanut butter. These are not indulgences, they're acts of preservation. When you feed your body early, you protect it from the fog of fatigue that creeps in by mid-morning. You help your mind stay sharper. You regulate your blood sugar, which in turn, supports your mood. And most importantly, you provide your muscles with the protein they so desperately need to stay resilient. The elderly body loses muscle faster than it gains. That is a truth no one likes to admit. But you are not powerless. A simple breakfast, especially one rich in protein and fiber, can slow that loss, rebuild that strength, and reduce the risk of falls, fractures, and frailty. More than that, breakfast can be a ritual of beauty. Imagine sitting by a window, watching the morning unfold as you nourish yourself with intention. The taste, the warmth, the quiet, these are not small things. They are reminders that you are still worthy of care. And if you prepare your breakfast yourself, even better. The chopping, the stirring, the act of creation, each motion becomes a subtle form of exercise, of engagement. It's a gift you give your body and your mind at the same time. You don't need a grand feast. Just enough to say, I am awake, and I am participating in this day. A slice of toast with avocado. A handful of nuts and berries. A warm glass of milk with honey. The options are endless. The point is the presence behind them. Many elders report better digestion, improved moods, and even deeper sleep when they consistently eat breakfast. Why? Because the body feels safer. Supported. Heard. There is something deeply human about preparing a small meal for oneself. It is an act of dignity. A soft defiance against the voices that say you're no longer needed, no longer strong, no longer whole. Eating breakfast is not about trend or routine. It is about re-establishing your relationship with nourishment. It's about honoring your body with consistency and kindness. And in doing so, you may find that the rest of your day flows more easily. You feel more grounded. Your thoughts less scattered. Your posture stronger. All because you said yes to the morning, with food in your hand and love in your heart. It may seem like a small thing. But at this stage in life, small things become everything. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to begin. Every bite becomes a way of saying, I still believe in my own vitality. So tomorrow morning, instead of rushing into tasks or skipping the moment altogether, sit down. Feed yourself. Let that first meal be your quiet rebellion against decline. Your morning upgrade can be as simple, and as sacred, as a piece of fruit shared with the silence. You've earned more than just survival. You've earned comfort. Nourishment. Renewal. Don't deny yourself the foundation of health simply because it seems ordinary. Because in truth, ordinary habits create extraordinary change. 5. Rushing through the morning. There's one more habit, so common it's almost invisible, that silently drains the body after 70. It's rushing. Not the kind of rushing that comes from a busy schedule, but the quiet, internal rush we place on ourselves the moment we wake up. That unspoken pressure to get moving, to get things done, to not waste time. But what if I told you, this habit is stealing the very strength you're trying to preserve? Rushing in the morning doesn't always look like speed. Sometimes it's mental. The checklist forming in your mind before your feet hit the floor. The sigh that follows thoughts like, I have to do the dishes, or I need to call the doctor, or I forgot to. It is the weight of responsibility creeping into a heart that has not yet had time to feel whole. After 70, the body changes. It moves slower for a reason. It's not failing, it's inviting you to live differently. To step into rhythm instead of pace. But when we ignore that invitation, when we keep living by the tempo of our past selves, we create conflict. Internally, emotionally, physically. You've likely felt it before. That tightness in your chest. That breathlessness, even when you're not doing much. That background tension. It's not just age, it's the aftermath of a morning that demanded performance instead of peace. Why do we rush? Sometimes it's fear. The fear that time is slipping away. That we must prove our usefulness. That if we don't keep up, we'll be left behind. But these fears lie. You are not here to chase. You are here to dwell, to live fully in the space you already occupy. A slower morning doesn't mean you are lazy. It means you are wise. It means you recognize that each breath is sacred. That each movement has value. That the way you begin sets the tone for everything that follows. Start by pausing. When you open your eyes, don't jump into planning. Don't jump into doing. Let your awareness arrive slowly. Notice the texture of your sheets. The weight of your blanket. The softness of the light. These things aren't trivial, they are grounding. Then move slowly. Sit up with care. Stretch with intention. Let your body guide you, not your mind's pressure. If breakfast waits 5 minutes longer, so be it. If the day begins 10 minutes later, let it. What you gain in calm will far outweigh what you lose in time. Rushing contracts the heart. It closes the breath. It puts the nervous system on edge. But slowness? Slowness expands. It opens your chest. It brings clarity to your thoughts. It brings dignity to your choices. Some mornings you may need to do more. But even then, let slowness be your foundation. Let it be the lens through which you move, intentionally, mindfully, kindly. You may even find that when you slow down, you get more done. Because you're not scattered. Because you're not moving from fear, but from steadiness. And that steadiness is magnetic, it draws peace to everything you do. The world may tell you that fast is efficient, that fast is strong. But you know better now. You've seen the truth play out over decades. What lasts is not speed, but consistency. Not rush, but rhythm. Let your mornings be a symphony of grace. Not a race. A return to the self that remembers, I am not defined by what I do. I am defined by how I am being. So tomorrow, before the day begins, release the urgency. Place your hand over your heart. Feel its beat. Let that rhythm guide you. There is no medal for rushing through your morning. But there is deep reward in honoring your pace. Because the real upgrade isn't just in what you change, it's in what you let go of. And sometimes, letting go of rushing is the most powerful step toward reclaiming your strength. As the years go by, it becomes increasingly clear, your natural rhythm doesn't just influence your mornings, it defines your entire life. The pace at which you start your day sets the tone for everything else that follows. Slowing down is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The more you honor your body's natural rhythm, the more you find yourself capable of handling the day's demands with ease and grace. It's about working with your body, not against it. The power of gentle transitions. Instead of leaping into the whirlwind of the day, allow yourself gentle transitions. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, savoring a warm cup of tea, or allowing the morning sunlight to filter through your window. Each moment of stillness, no matter how brief, adds to your overall sense of calm. These transitions help to center you and create a sense of control over your surroundings, rather than letting the chaos of the day dictate your emotions. The emotional toll of rushing. When you rush, you are not just moving quickly, you are creating emotional noise. That inner tension becomes a constant companion, weighing on your mind and heart. The pressure to get things done often leads to feelings of frustration, guilt, and even anxiety. The emotional toll of rushing is something that creeps up slowly, unnoticed, but over time, it can wear down your resilience. Taking the time to slow down and center yourself each morning helps prevent these negative emotions from taking root. Mindful breathing. One of the simplest yet most effective ways to break the cycle of rushing is to practice mindful breathing. Instead of allowing your breath to become shallow and rapid in response to internal pressure, consciously slow your breathing. With each inhale, feel your chest expand. With each exhale, let go of any tension. Even a few moments of mindful breathing can reset your nervous system, bringing clarity and calm to your thoughts. Starting the day with gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to rushing. It reminds you that, even in the midst of a busy life, there is always something to be thankful for. By starting your day with a simple acknowledgement of the blessings in your life, you cultivate a mindset of abundance, rather than one of scarcity. It's easy to forget, but the more you practice gratitude, the more you realize that you are never truly rushing, there is always enough time for what matters most. The quiet strength of slowing down. Slowing down doesn't make you weak. In fact, it takes strength to resist the urge to rush.